Detroit in the early 2010s was my kingdom of chaos. The crumbling factories and abandoned lots of the inner city were my boardroom. Engines revving like thunder, streetlights flickering over hushed exchanges in the dead of night. I wasn't just a player. I built the empire from the ground up, controlling blocks from 8 Mile to the riverfront with an iron fist. Shipments rolled in like clockwork, profits piled up, and my crew treated me like royalty. Power tasted sweet, but it blinded me to the rot eating away at my soul and the city around me. Every corner I controlled was another family destroyed, another kid who'd never see their potential realized. The money felt endless, the respect intoxicating, but beneath it all, something hollow gnawed at me in the quiet moments between deals that IT unfolded in a blur of sirens and spotlights. One foggy dawn, SWAT teams stormed my fortified warehouse, flashbangs exploding as doors crashed in like thunder from heaven itself. I hit the floor, surrounded by evidence that sealed my doom, kilos stacked high in ledgers naming names, a paper trail of destruction I'd meticulously built. The courtroom was a nightmare. My sister's sobs echoing as the judge hammered down life sentences reduced to 20 years for good behavior potential. The gavel fell like a death knell on everything I thought I was. Intake at Jackson Prison was brutal. The strip search, the jeers from lifers who'd been playing this game longer than I'd been alive. That first lockdown night, staring at concrete walls painted industrial green, I realized my empire was dust, and survival meant reinventing myself in hell. The silence was deafening after years of constant motion, constant deals, constant power plays. Now there was only time, endless, suffocating time. Time in the pen crawled like traffic on I-75 during rush hour. Gang scraps in the chow hall, stints in the hole for standing my ground, the endless echo of regrets bouncing off concrete walls. I kept wheels turning inside, trading commissary goods and info to stay on top of the prison hierarchy. Old habits die hard even behind bars. Then, during a library shift, I picked up a frayed Bible. Not for enlightenment but to pass the hours between count times. The stories seeped in gradually, challenging my tough guy facade like rust on Detroit steel. David facing Goliath, Paul's transformation on the Damascus Road, stories of redemption that seemed impossible yet somehow familiar. I studied it under my bunk light, away from prying eyes, feeling the first stirrings of something bigger than my old hustles. It wasn't dramatic, no lightning bolts or prison yard revelations. Just a persistent whisper eroding my defenses, asking questions I'd spent years avoiding. Who was I beneath the empire? What had I really built, and at what cost? Contact with the outside faded fast. My ex cut ties, former friends vanished like smoke when the money stopped flowing. The streets have a short memory for fallen kings. But a surprise letter arrived from an old neighborhood pastor, someone I'd barely acknowledged in my empire days. His words cut deep. Though your sins are like scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. It shook me to my core. Here was forgiveness offered freely, no strings attached, no favors owed. I replied haltingly, admitting failures I'd buried deep under years of justification and street logic. More letters came, from community folks I'd wronged, even distant relatives offering forgiveness I didn't think I deserved. Those envelopes became my anchor, weaving threads of hope and family back into my fractured life. Each one showed me that redemption wasn't a solo act. It required community, vulnerability, and the courage to face the damage I'd caused. The walls of my cell remained the same, but something inside me was changing brick by brick. I never saw the raid coming that would shatter it all. Stepping free after 20 years, Detroit's skyline hit different. Same boarded-up homes, same desperate faces on familiar corners, but I carried a fire inside that prison couldn't extinguish. The city had changed, but the need remained the same. Only now, instead of feeding the addiction, I was called to fight it. No more empires of destruction. Now I chase saving souls. I founded an outreach in the heart of the inner city, hitting crack houses and shelters to pull addicts from the brink. My talks are real, no fluff, just testimony of how God turned a kingpin's downfall into a lifeline for others. When I tell them I've been where they are, they listen. Street credibility earned through pain now serves a higher purpose. Mentoring kids on those same corners where I once pushed poison, I prove that if divine mercy could pierce my armored heart in a prison yard, it can transform anyone lost in the shadows. Every life saved is a debt paid forward. Every family reunited a small victory against the darkness I once helped spread. The empire I built destroyed. The kingdom I serve now rebuilds. Same streets, different mission, and this time the profit isn't measured in dollars, but in souls returned to the light.